Econ students, this is Mr. Davidson with another exciting edition of Mnemonic Economics. So one of the most challenging and important skills to master in economics is to evaluate. I see so many students who are excellent at calculations, excellent at explaining key concepts, but lose a lot of marks in the evaluation part of the exam and in the essays and projects throughout the year. In this essay, we'll be looking at a formula that's easy to remember and can be used when evaluating government policies in macro, micro, international, and developed economics. So my mnemonic device for this is tacos. This formula gives you a framework for all of your evaluation essays and will help you when you're rushing to write things down in a limited amount of time in the exam and just squeeze those extra few points out of the essay. Now, let's go through what each letter means. Now, I can't predict what policy will come up in the exam, but with a little creativity, you can apply each one of these to the demand and supply side policies or government intervention as a whole. Okay, so first, T. So T stands for timing. Different policies are designed to work in the short run or in the long run. Monetary policy has a time lag of up to 1 year, whereas fiscal policies and interventionist supply side policies may take years to have an effect on the economy. Now that's due to policy issues such as how long does it take to get through Congress or the Parliament, and also implementation issues in terms of how long will it actually have an effect, such as an investment in schools will perhaps take 20 years before it has an effect on the overall population. Okay, next A. A stands for allocation. Is this policy allocatively efficient? In other words, does it achieve the macroeconomic goals of the government? So if we invest in infrastructure, where is it best to invest in infrastructure in the country, and where will it be best placed? Where do we build roads? Where do we build hospitals? Where do we build schools and houses? Equally, if we alter tax rates, who are likely to benefit from this alteration? Is it going to be rich people? Is it going to be poor people? Is it going to be the middle classes? Is it going to be farmers or public sector workers, etc., etc.? Okay, so C stands for calculation issues. How much do we invest in these areas? And is it adequate, or is it too much, or is it too little? If we spend too little, it won't achieve our goals. And if we spend too much, it won't be allocatively efficient and wasteful. An example of this can be seen in the UK, where many argue the UK's housing policy hasn't done enough to build houses around London, leading to very, very high prices in the centre of London and poor people not being able to live in the city anymore. O stands for opportunity costs. Opportunity cost is the loss of potential gain from other alternatives when one alternative is chosen. For example, if you spend money on museums, which of course are very important, you're not spending that money on the police force or schools or elsewhere. In infrastructure, national parks, the fire service, renewable energy. So governments always have to make a choice where they're going to invest that tax revenue that taxpayers pay for. Finally, S is stakeholders. Now in your essay, I want you to address all of the stakeholders affected by the policy. For example, how are consumers, producers, and the government affected by the policy? And is it positive or negative for this group? And this really depends on the policy. For example, a rise in income tax will give consumers less disposable income to spend on goods, which may harm the consumers and the producers. However, at the same time, it may also lower inflation and raise revenue for the government to reinvest in merit goods. Okay, so I know that was a really quick rundown of each point, but please remember to apply this and use your creativity and logic to apply tacos to your exam question or to your macroeconomic policy. Okay, thank you very much and stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you. Goodbye.